we're not talking about people who eat meat and dairy. We're saying that the animals who are exploited are individuals, and it doesn't matter like it's your personal choice or not, but animals are being hurt. Nepal and India, especially being Hindu majority countries, are mostly vegetarian. And even if we look at our history, um, meat wasn't this popular, right? And there are others like plants feel pain,
Mhm.
and cutting a carrot and cutting a goat is the same thing. They have, number one, blocked that idea that animals are being killed for the meat,
Mhm.
and second is like, since the slaughterhouses, they actually bring live
All right, thank you so much, Dipesh, for being on my podcast. I'm really excited about this one. I think this is going to be a very, very important one. Before we get started, why don't you introduce yourself briefly about what you do and maybe a little bit about Kathmandu Animal Save?
okay. So, hi everyone. My name is Dipesh Shrestha. I am the co-organizer of Kathmandu Animal Save. Kathmandu Animal Save is a part of a global save movement, and it is focused on animal rights and animal justice. So we conduct awareness programs related to farmed animals, and we try to bring forward the injustices that happen behind the slaughter walls. So right now we are focusing on creating a community here in Nepal, especially here in Kathmandu, and yeah, we are always like open to include all youth, uh, so that like we can help understand this whole injustice system, and also like fight against the whole big animal agriculture industry.
Right. Thank you. So to get started, how did you go vegan in the first place? Because I know this is not a very familiar concept, especially in Nepal and Sunny, like leaving everything that you've been eating ever since you were a child. How did that journey begin for you?
So I think most people will relate to this. Like as a child, like I was really into animals. Uh, Anytime like I would see an animal near me, I would try to play with them, and but I never connected that the animals that I wanted to play with are also those animals that I ate during my dinner and my lunch. But as I started to see the environmental, uh, sorry, what happened was one day I was like watching a documentary about how humans are destroying the environment, and at the end of the documentary, like it was showing how animal agriculture also plays a big part on this environmental degradation. And I didn't quite relate to it that much, but once I started to dig more into this issue, I started to see how horribly we treat animals as well. So it was not just I want, like, this is my home, or it's my home and I want to protect this, but it is also like, but we are treating our own companion species horribly as well.
Yeah.
And it took me some time to completely get the knowledge. We can easily see how the meat industry is, because we know that meat comes from killing an animal, but it's very difficult to see how animals are hurt in dairy industry and egg industry and in honey, or even like in silk or other products, right? So as I kept on like searching for more answers, then it was very clear to me that I cannot like support this animal agriculture industry in any way or form. And that is how my journey to veganism started. And I would say like it is still a learning process for me, even though like it's almost a decade for me becoming a vegan, but it's still a learning process, because every day like I learn about newer way humans are exploiting animals, and some things in our society which might seem so mundane, so normal, suddenly starts to I, I can see how we have created this um, whole system where animals are included against their will, and then we either use them for our own personal greed, or kind of trick ourselves or trick our society to say that this is how it should be, and there's no say of the animal that how they want to live in our society. Like, we as a human have like created our whole world, keeping ourselves in the center, and
Mhm.
we never thought to ask, like, shall we treat these other beings, these other species, kindly as well? So yeah, this is a process. I think like most of my friends as well, like, we keep on having discussions about this issue, like how our society has been uh, exploiting animals, and how might we able to put this issue in a way that most of those people who are already thinking that animal cruelty should be avoided, but hasn't quite connected the issue yet. So how can we provide a message in a way that they can, it is easier for them to understand the whole system?
Right. So why don't you walk us through everything that your organization, Kathmandu Animal Save, you're the co-founder you mentioned. How did that happen? Like, when did it start, and what exactly are y'all focusing on? And have you seen any changes that, like after you've maybe like done like an event and people have actually went vegan or changed their lifestyle? What kind of changes have you seen in the society, that, like from the efforts that you've made from the organization?
Mhm. So Kathmandu Animal Save is an awareness-based organization. So our main focus is to create events where people can participate and learn about this animal agriculture system. Mostly what we do is, if we like take a part of the save movement is majoritarily focused on vigils. So vigils is going to a slaughterhouse, or places where animals are kept before they are killed, and witnessing their final moments. But since in Nepal, like, the shops, meat shops are readily like open here on the streets, and people are normalized to this situation. So our focus is trying to figure out another creative way for people to rethink about the meat industry. And what we do is we try to create events such as documentary screenings. We last year started doing a vegan gallery as well, where animal lovers can come together and paint about animals. We do social media content. We are trying to create more of Nepali content regarding the animal industry. And yeah, we do outreaches and different other events. So our whole focus is to create a community where people are, first of all, comfortable enough to say that, okay, I am not vegan yet, I have not stopped eating meat yet, but I want to try it out. I want to understand how to go through this process. So we want to create that safe space here in Kathmandu. And other is like, we want to create enough resources that people actually can see that veganism is not just about diet, or not just about lifestyle. It is an injustice. So they, like, we were trying to create this narrative that when we are talking about meat or dairy, we're not talking about people who eat meat and dairy. We're saying that the animals who are exploited are individuals, and it doesn't matter like it's your personal choice or not, but animals are being hurt, and we have to see the victims in this situation.
Yeah, that's amazing. What kind of impact have you seen? Have people come back to you after an event and said that, oh, like they went vegan, or, what kind of impact have you seen in person?
So there are a few examples. So after people have joined our events, there have few wins that we have seen. Some people have gone home, researched more about it, and then told us that, okay, I am trying to go vegan now. Or some people have joined us into multiple events, and throughout volunteering with us, they have changed their whole perspective and their whole lifestyle as well. But then there's also people who joined us for the first time, and some people just need a little bit of push, who have already thought about being vegan or thought about what veganism is and animal cruelty is in this industry. But they just need a little bit push from people. Like, we want a community uh, around it, right? You can't It is very difficult for people to just be vegan on their own.
Yeah.
But once they find a community where the perspective that you are holding is same as others, then it's very easier for people to even take some negative feedback from other people, like friends and family members. There are like some social pressures which can be minimized if you have a small gathering of people. So yeah, we have seen most of our friends right now, or most of our members also, who have converted to veganism, changed to veganism after meeting us, and who have already been vegan and now are trying to, be more active to us, like speaking up for animals.
That's amazing. Before I move on to the next question, I just want to congratulate you all for the great job that y'all are doing. I follow you on social media, and it's amazing that the impact that y'all are creating, and it makes me very happy that like young people are trying their best to bring some change in the society. You mentioned that in Nepal it's so normal to look at like meat shops and like animals being killed in front of your eyes. How has the Nepalese society, or how are Nepalese people looking at or perceiving veganism as an idea or as a concept? What kind of environment are you seeing around when it comes to accepting or not accepting the idea of veganism?
So right now, there are like different reaction from people. We always get that, okay, you guys are dollar funded, and you guys are bringing in the Western propaganda. Uh, but right now, our focus is that, why not like create something from grassroots level, right? Nepal and India, especially being Hindu majority countries, are mostly vegetarian, and even if we look at our history, um, meat is wasn't this popular, right? Meat was a very like luxurious thing, and now we have started following the Western food system and started having meat every single day. And now we are trying to figure out a way to talk with like different generations, because youth are taking us very in a positive way. So but then there are like elder people who we are trying to figure out a way to convey the message properly, because their mindset and our mindset might differ in certain ways. So our whole cultural aspect, whole religious aspect is also based on animal exploitation. So it is a little bit tricky. We get lots of negative feedback, but also a positive feedback from people. Even though those people who are not able to switch to veganism or quit animal products immediately, they still message us, they still comment on our post saying that you guys are doing great, and I would like to transition to veganism someday. um, and I just need some little bit of time or a little bit of more information. And that makes us like very happy to hear that people are actually listening to what we're saying, and it is resonating with them, that our message is uh, uh, our message is like taken to a right audience, to the
Mhm.
right time, I would say. Like,
Yeah.
social media is helping a lot right now to spread this message.
Great. So sounds like there is some progress, especially with the younger generation. Speaking of which, have like what kind of absurd arguments have you come across against veganism? Because when I first went vegan, and I advocate a lot on social media, which people totally hate me for, where most people hate me for, and I have come across so many arguments like, oh, lions eat meat, or we are the top predator, or we are on top of the food chain, and I've heard all sorts of things. What are some of the most absurd arguments that you've heard against veganism?
So this one's a little funny one. So it kind of contradicts itself, but people say that if we stop eating meat, won't the animals be extinct? Is one. But and after talking with that person a little bit, and they would still say, but if we stop eating meat, won't they like overpopulate the earth? And like it's always a funny one for me, because people are just trying to find an excuse to keep doing what they're doing. And there are others like plants feel pain,
Mm-hmm.
and cutting a carrot and cutting a goat is the same thing. And I think at the end of the day, like they are just trying to protect the belief they have been grown up into.
Yeah.
And yeah, we just need to keep on speaking our message, keep on saying what we believe in, and how we want to change the world. And people will follow. It takes time for people to observe the idea, think about it.
Mm-hmm.
There will be some pushbacks, but with time, I think when majority of the people follows, the minority will have to follow as well.
Right. Um, why do you think the cruelty against animals is so much normalized? Like, why do we lack the basic empathy to, like, we can't feel their pain, but at least, like, maybe let alone empathy, we can't even sympathize with animals, right? The way we consume meat on a daily basis, and I mean the way we have normalized just these chickens crammed in one cage, and we walk by those shops every day and we don't even like bat an eye or like find anything wrong with that. Why do you think, like, us humans, we lack that empathy against animal cruelty, or just we just turn a blind eye to that, to these events, or to these norms?
Mhm. I think it's human conditioning, right? When we start to see the same exploitation happening every single day, then our mind kinds of like block it. Um, Whenever we are trying to talk people during our documentary screenings, so when we try to show them some graphic footages, like here's what happens in slaughterhouses, even though they eat meat, they say that, but I can't watch how they're killed. And that's something that we feel that people have the capacity to look at animals being hurt and feel the same pain they might be going through or similar to that. But they have, number one, blocked that idea that animals are being killed for the meat.
Mm-hmm.
And second is like, since the slaughterhouses, they actually bring live animals during either very early in the morning or very late at night, which keeps them away from public eye. And when they go to buy meat, they only see the meat. And that is something that tricks people into saying that their meat is not alive, or their meat wasn't a living being some hours before they bought it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is a very tricky thing. Like people can be tricked easily as well.
Yeah.
uh, so yeah, it's a matter of like how we find a way to you know make people see again. Even when we are seeing animal sacrifices during some religious occasions, there will always be people who say that why should we like kill these animals this horribly. uh, they won't try to stop it or anything, but there's still that question in their mind that maybe this is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think, yeah, I see some hope in people that they also feel that it's wrong,
Yeah.
but they just need some I think guidance.
Mm-hmm. what do you think we can do as an individual, especially if somebody who's just turned vegan or somebody who's been vegan for a while who wants to make an impact, right? Or wants to influence other people to see what they see, to actually understand that what's happening to animals is cruel. What do you think we can do as an individual to make a difference?
So personally, I will always say that veganism is the first step. So when you realize that there is cruelty, there's an exploitation, and you turn vegan, that's your first step. That's the minimal thing that you can do.
Yeah.
And the next step you can take is being active. Try to figure out like if there's any other organizations who are working on this field, who are trying to help animals, and join with them. Try to see how they do activism, and if it resonates with you, uh, you can be a part of that team. If it doesn't, try to see if there's another organization, or if there's no organization in your community, then see online which organizations are there who believe in the same philosophy that you believe in, and maybe you can start your own little chapter. When Kathmandu Animal Save began, like it started with just two of us uh, trying to volunteer our time, and
Mm-hmm.
now we have nearly 10 active members who are coming in every single event, and along with that we have around 40 volunteers who join us time by time during our events. So I think like it's just starts with you. Sometimes you have to be the first one to take the step, and people will follow you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Take the initiative. One last question. What resources would you recommend someone who is struggling to go vegan, who have like, somebody who's realized that, okay, this is wrong. I need to change my lifestyle. I need to change the way I'm, like including meat in my diet. What resources would you recommend them? Maybe some kind of documentary or like anything that they can do that will help them in that journey.
Mhm. So veganism is a very complicated issue. When we are talking about veganism, it's not just about animal cruelty, even though like it's a majority of part. It also includes the environment, the health, and there's ethics. So when we are trying to understand this issue, I would recommend people to break down what resources they are consuming. So you can watch a little bit about animal cruelties. So for animal cruelty, there are amazing documentaries like Earthlings,
Mm-hmm.
Dominion, and for environmental one, you can watch like Seaspiracy, Cowspiracy. Those are really good to start with if you can't watch graphic footages. And then there's health resources like What the Health, even the Game Changers. Like they are really amazing documentaries. Along with that, there are other websites like nutritionalfacts.org. Like it's an amazing resource for people who are interested in health and how plant-based diet affect our health after we change to veganism.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there are lots of resources. I would just ask people to not just consume one kind of resource. Sometimes people fall into trap watching just the graphic footages, and then they get drained out. They
Mm-hmm.
feel that like they can't change the world as it is. But if we just try to consume a little bit of everything and try to understand the issue on its whole,
Mm-hmm.
then that would be really helpful. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Dipesh. I really enjoyed talking to you and thank you for answering all the questions. Hopefully, everyone who's listening this will think about changing their lifestyle or think about not harming animals anymore. Do you have any other questions, comments, anything else that you want to add before we wrap it up?
Yeah, so if you are trying to be vegan, or if you are trying to just like think about how to be involved in this issue, find someone who is in your area. Even if there's not an organization, just try to see if there's another vegan that you can connect with. Having a person to talk with is very essential in this process.
Right.
If there's someone you can just ask questions, then it makes it a lot easier for you to understand this issue and also transition. So I would reach out to any vegans. Lots of vegans are very open to talk about this issue. So
Mhm.
feel free to contact any other vegan. Yeah.
Definitely having a support system would be a great push towards veganism. All right, thank you again, Dipesh. Hopefully everyone who's listening this enjoyed the conversation and will take a step towards veganism and will probably, like be someone who will not harm animals anymore in the future. All right, thank you everyone. That was episode 19, I believe, and I'll see you all in the next one.